An early memorable experience I had was seeing Free Willy.
I had to fact check this with my mom over a text message, but it was seeing The Land Before Time when I was 2 years old in 1988.
At least in the theaters, is watching Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah, there's nothing really that I remember.
Can I use a Grandpa Simpson voice? Oh, when I was a little boy, they didn't have these newfangled gizmos or contraptions. When I was a kid, studios would re-release their movies in movie theaters because there was no home video. I saw a re-release of The Jungle Book, which was very exciting for me. I fell in love with Baloo.
I must have been 4 or 5, and my parents took me to a theater in Baltimore to see Snow White. And I remember the movie, and I remember being freaked out about the evil queen and loving Snow White. But more than that, I remember going into the theater. I had never been in a movie theater.
The very first time that my parents took me to the movies was to The Fox and the Hound. To this date, I still have not ever seen The Fox and the Hound again, and I think that's almost deliberate on my part. But I remember the emotional, the visual impact of seeing it on the big screen, and I almost don't want to diminish it by watching it on video.
Free Willy is the story of a young boy who was troubled but got to go to a local water park and befriend a killer whale, and that sort of like rehabilitated him.
I had been to the movie theaters before, but watching this movie was the first time that I was introduced to like the beauty of watching a Black movie with a Black audience.
And at the end of the movie, this text came up on the screen that said, if you were moved by this story and you want to adopt a whale, go home and call, and you can adopt a whale. So I was really excited. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna adopt a whale.
I just remember forcing my parents and relatives to see the worst movies possible. The Power Rangers movie and Batman and Robin. You know, it's just what you do with your family. You go to the movies.
The second experience was kind of an odd one. I remember my dad just needing an afternoon free and basically dropped my sister off and me off at our local Cinemapolis with a bag full of McDonald's, and we went to go see Ghost Dad and Dick Tracy back to back. I remember being pretty charmed by Ghost Dad and finding Dick Tracy freaky and disturbing and incoherent.
I remember the red velvet curtains and the red velvet seat, and I remember how you walked down the aisle and it slanted downwards, and I remember feeling like here I was with grown-ups and we were doing something together, and when the lights went down, it was like magic.
I was fully envisioning the whale was gonna live in our swimming pool, and then I got home and called the number, and they were like, we're gonna send you a picture of this whale that you can adopt that 800 other billion people have also adopted. That was tragic for me, and I never got to have a whale in my bathtub or my pool.
There's this scene where Kimberly Elise's character, her husband's paralyzed and she hates him because he's been treating her like crap, and she like rams him into a tub, and everyone starts cheering and talking back to the screen, and normally you wouldn't do that, but it was beautiful and it was like a shared kind of movie-going experience that really taught me that certain movies it's okay to do that too.
Scared by the snake, you know, bare necessities, forget about your worries and your strife. I love that movie so much. So that's my first movie memory. The next year, I think I saw Clockwork Orange, but that's a different movie memory for a different story.